What's happening, guys? Dan here, DSP Shop. So, in the shop, man, I haven't been hardly working on this thing in the last 2 weeks. I've been selling stuff like crazy, buying stuff. It's been a disaster. We're doing good. We're almost at our goal number there. It's just, the way she's gonna be. Sick for a couple days last week, and I kind of felt behind on videos a little bit. So now I'm scrambling to get back on it, which, hey, no rest for the wicked. So we have to get this thing taken care of. I really want this thing kind of together and sold ASAP. There's too many dollars sitting here, and ultimately I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to drive it, and that's just the way it's going to be. So we've got the metal kind of tacked together. We got a little bit more metal work to do, but not a whole lot. We have to put the glass in it. I got a carpet kit for it. I got some seats for it. Just fill the trunk for all the parts that we're not gonna, put on it type thing. A few more nuts and bolts. I would like to scuff this thing and shoot it, some primer or maybe some flat black or something. So that's the plan. Now, plan for tonight is unfortunately not gonna get a whole lot done, but it'll set me up for tomorrow. I do want to start doing a little bit of body work. I got to finish off the rockers and stuff down there. But what this thing needs, it's got this surface rust on it, which actually, this isn't really too bad. The roof, I believe, was bare metal. So what I think I'm going to do, we're going to drop it down. We're going to fire up the compressor. We'll just hit it with the DA real quick, just to kind of get some of the roughness off. I think I have some, I got a couple cans of this rust converter stuff. We're just going to kind of mist that over it. It will encapsulate or transform the rust into something that's not going to carry on. Because the last thing you want to do is paint over rust. You know what? You could, I guess, sandblast or do all sorts of stuff like that. I've had really good luck with that stuff in the past. My 55 Chevy, the whole roof was the same thing. Excuse me, it's the whole thing. And I ended up using that body filler, and then I just primed it, and it's still in good shape 5 years later. It's starting to kind of rust a little bit, but not like this. It's starting to rust where there's all nicks and scratches and stuff like that. So I'm a believer in that. And ultimately, it's on video. If the future owner really has a problem with it, they can sandblast it, take it down to bare metal. They can do whatever the heck they want. But that is the plan, because I'd like to kind of get that taken care of, and then tomorrow we can finish whatever we have to do in here, get this all kind of welded up, maybe in there a little bit, get this a little bit more permanent, start filling in maybe a little bit of body filler, just kind of do some basics. And we do have to fix the rockers just a little. This one needs a little bit on the other side as well. Then we can kind of carry on doors, all that sort of stuff. I'd like to have this thing running in the next, I want to say a few days, but probably my next weekend maybe. We'll kind of get to just off a jerry can or like a little jug under the hood. We don't have a fuel tank. We're not gonna replumb this thing. I'd like to try and make the back brakes work if I can. I don't know if we're gonna get onto the fronts or not. Just all those little things that it can kind of run and drive onto a trailer and kind of carry on, put all the little lights and stuff in. I'd like to prime it or some flat black. I don't know if I said that or not, so we'll get that on it. Just make it look like a car, get it to the next level, and ultimately, if the next guy isn't going to get to it right away, which is a possibility with projects, let's be honest, how many of us buy a project that sits a little bit? At least it can kind of sit outside or under a tarp and not get back to this, because that is exactly what happened with this car. Someone had grandiose ideas, took it all the way apart. They lost interest, sold it to another guy who also lost interest, and it sat outside, who then sold it to me, and I let it sit outside for probably 2 years. So, 10 years goes by like that, as a lot of you guys know, especially when you got kids and responsibilities and job changes and all that sort of stuff. So, that's what we're gonna do. A little bit of lipstick on a pig today. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of sand this down on my own, crank some tunes, and then I'll come back when we're doing the little psh, 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 and that's it for tonight, unfortunately. We'll let that stuff dry. I think it only needs a couple hours, but you know what? If it can dry right overnight, we should be good, and then we can top coat it and all that sort of stuff, and I'll be much happier, feel better about it, and ultimately, so will the future owner. For a super small amount of work, we'll get it taken care of. So, I'll see you shortly. That was awful. So, as you can see though, I mean, it's pretty much down to metal. There's some spots there, a little bit of surface rust, and then there's some black paint was on the quarter panels. You know what though, this was, I don't think it was sandblasted. I mean, you can see these sanding marks. So obviously somebody just sanded it. The issue is like these little spots, you're not getting those out without kind of grinding it. So we'll go ahead and rust convert it. The top of this quarter was the worst. It's actually kind of pitted. So clearly that's where a bunch of snow sat. Here you can really see all the sanding scratches and whatnot. But anyways, let's go ahead, spin you guys around. I might have to drop this thing down just a little bit more. The body shop lift is handy for body shop stuff like this. Okay, so I already kind of shook this up. I thought I had a couple of cans, but I only have the one. But really, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. You just kind of give her a nice little misting. I've showed this lots of times before, actually. You know what? We'll show this real quick. You can kind of see, just, you know, it goes on wet. That's all you got to do. I got my little cardboard piece to kind of, you know, around the glass. If there's anything you don't want to get this on. And this stuff will take, what does it say here? Converts rusted surfaces from all metals to paintable primer, is ideal for automobiles, yada yada yada. Shake well, apply for heavy rust to repeat. Doesn't actually have a dry time. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of make this happen. Okay, we're not really going for perfection. We just kind of want it to be decent when we put a top coat on. It's not going to come right out from below it. Now, when it went down to bare metal, I don't really care too much about it. We really just want to make sure we get the kind of rusty spots in the area like that. What do we got going on here? Now this will turn the rust into like a, almost like a black kind of color. So I'm just going to run along the kind of top of the quarter panel body line. We'll make sure we get it pretty good right there. And then I'll lift it up and get the rest. It's not that this really, oh yeah, almost like instantly goes black. That means it's working. And then this, like I said, can be primed, body filler on it, whatever you want. You don't gotta feel bad about it as far as I'm concerned. And if you want to spend hours and hours making it perfect, buy the car and do whatever you want to it. But otherwise, that's what we're doing. So I'll get this taken care of, and I don't know, it'll come back before we go in for the night. Honestly, this stuff is kind of drying pretty quick. It's very hot out. First real hot day, 30 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Freedom, but it's hot. And it's dark out, 11 o'clock at night. Perfect. Got a little bit of, a little ugly there. Did I already do this? No. All right. Now I'm stopping the camera. Okay, there we have it. So I gave it 2 coats. I actually found another can. You can kind of see it's kind of turned this purpley kind of color. And that should darken up and kind of turn black. A few spots dried up right away, so I gave it like a real heavy coat on there. And I mean, really, this stuff here, like they're talking painting right on absolute pure garbage, and then it converts to black and then you can paint it. So as far as I'm concerned, the fact that we knocked off, I don't know, 75, 80%, maybe more of all the crap, and we got a lot of bare metal, this would be overkill and be just fine. But feel free to let me know in the comments how wrong it is, and I should have sandblasted it and made it perfect. But I did the back section too. I don't know if I showed that or not. We did all that. So we're good. They're back, and I just shot in all in here. I didn't actually sand that first, but we'll just kind of scuff that and make it look nice. So now all that's left, I got to get another can I gotta do the cowl and then those two pieces in the front. They both need a little bit of love. The fenders and the doors, we'll just scuff those, and they're basically ready for finished bodywork. Anyway, that's where we're gonna leave it for today. Tomorrow, which will be right away, hopefully we'll come back, you'll see the immediate difference of this. You guys will get like a immediate comparison. And I'll do the back of the rocker on both sides, because they're no bueno. And maybe I'll, kind of touch up in here. This is, a little, it is what it is. We'll fix up in there. We'll fix it, look at that. You can see it's already going all purple. We'll fix that section in the trunk, because I don't think I finished that. So we'll have to, probably pull the deck lid off, but finish welding in there, weld that in nice, clamp that all down, get that taken care of. And then we can just start slowly but surely working our way forward. Realistically, once that's done, that's about all the body work I'm gonna do. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I'd like to start, I got the doors in the other garage. I'd like to peel the doors apart, get all the junk out of them, glass, regulator, latch assemblies. I don't think I have the pins, so maybe I get a little creative there, or the doors won't latch, a little ratchet strap on there, or a bathroom door latch, Get that taken care of, then I can, seats and all sorts of stuff go in there. Then 3 wires to make it run, drive it out of my life. See you guys tomorrow. Man, Camaro. Okay, so new day. The stuff's all kind of dry, so you can see where's kind of the pitted rust gets this purpley black kind of color, so that's all kind of taken care of. I didn't go crazy in here. I'm gonna probably grind this a little better before we put some body filler on it. But that's pretty much that. So it's got a decent little base. I just put one more coat on here this morning, so it's a little tacky, but that's fine. So now I want to tackle this section in here. So I think we'll probably just take the deck lid off just to make my life a little bit easier. Come on, come on.
Still in it.
Man, what? Stanley junk. Okay. So. Zip this off. I should be able to kind of wire wheel in there and weld it up. Give her a bit of a gentle. So I do that. I want to get in here. There's a little screw I want to grind out, and this is kind of some ugliness. So we'll see if we can get in there as well. And same thing. This is what the guy did. It is what it is. We grind in here. We can put a little body filler there, and then this here got just kind of held in lightly, so we'll have to do a little bit of trimming and whacking to get that all into place, but it really shouldn't be too big of a deal. So we'll get the welder pulled out, get the grinding gear, and we'll get on that. But it should go pretty quick. And maybe need a welding blanket to put on the glass. Where are they?
There's one there.
Those are covered in oil. Oh, I put them outside to dry. Then it rained. That's probably where they are. Shoot.
They might not be so great.
Yeah. I put them on the fence, and it would appear as though they blew off, and then it rained. Oh well. What's a little water while you're trying to get rid of rust and welding at the same time? Be fine. We get this dialed together. Be right back. Okay, so I just got the wire wheel here. Watch your eyeballs on this one. Let's get in here real quick. That came out pretty good. I'll do this actually too. little ugly on that side, but we will carry on. So now we should be able to kind of buzz this all together. It doesn't have to be super pretty or nothing, as opposed to the rest of the car, I guess, which is pretty well mint. What we got there? Oh, 2 pairs of glasses on there. That's embarrassing. I don't want to lose those ones. Like going out glasses. Okay. What's going on here? Perfect. Perfect. Oh, that'll be good. I don't know if there's supposed to be a seam here or not, but the previous gentleman did not put one in. So we're gonna basically do what he did. Not too bad. It's kind of different side to side, but there you go, that ain't going nowhere. The only thing, what he did is there needs to be like a little lip here. Well, I guess there doesn't have to be. That's where you glue the weather stripping in, the channel. So that's kind of missed. So I'll do this side right quick, then we can start focusing on the back. It might need a little pie cutting to kind of fit a little better, but a little grinding and welding. This is a bit of a weird situation we got ourselves into. It's kind of a funny cut he did. Let's see how we're gonna get in here. It may be a seam sealer fix. There is nothing structural there, but so there we go. You can see on this side, kind of left a little bit of a lip, so we got a bit of a hole, but it's can't get to the bottom side. I could weld in there, but trying to get that cleaned up might be a bit of a disaster. I'll play with a little. And then here, I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably zip off this tack, put a little pie cut in there, and we'll just whack that together. So we'll get reset up with a few more tools. I'll do it on both sides. Okay, so now here's what I'm going to do. So you can see like this is supposed to kind of be in line with that, which is clearly not the case. So my plan is to kind of wedge cut this something along those lines, maybe even go a little bit higher, and that will then allow me to hammer it in and go to place. Before I do that, I'm going to just weld all this, because all it's holding is that one tack weld. We're going to have to kind of probably cut that out. We're going to take that out, and that one little mark. So we'll weld this in pretty solid on the back side, and then we can do whatever we want, because the quarter panel fits nicely on the back there. So now we're just dealing with trunk seal fitment. So if you're gonna have a problem, let's have it there, right? We have ground. What's going on here? Am I the problem? Oh, I moved.
You are the problem.
I am always the problem. What is happening? Perfect. Nailed it. Let's get in there pretty good. Take this self-tapper out. I'll finish this up real quick. Now, I think this was probably like spot welded in place from the factory. So we're not exactly factory, but we're pretty close. So that ain't going nowhere. Do you want earmuffs, or are you just gonna plug your ears? You gotta edit it for the people too. They're very demanding. Okay, I'm gonna cut the spot weld out. Should be close. We'll see what we got going on here. Not the best cut I've ever made, but not the worst. Where's a hammer? So now we should be able to kind of, I might need to slit that as well. I don't know if it's a trick as much as it is brute force and ignorance, but I'm gonna put one more cut in this. See if it makes a difference. Re-weld that if we have to. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So now, just give this a quick ice grip. Hear the neighbor, Agatha, the dog's being bad. Okay, so that's clamped in, ain't going nowhere. So there we have it. We can basically now just, it's gonna be a little ugly. I need a different hammer, which I don't know where it is, but we'll come back. I'll just kind of weld that in real quick. We'll give her a nice little detailing. I don't know where my little pick hammer is, which is surprising. I'm usually so organized. Oh, ball peen. It's almost a body hammer. I have a hammer wall. Why is it not on the hammer wall, you might ask? Oh yeah, that's what we wanted anyways. Okay, so now, let's just go ahead and give this a couple tackaroonies. And once I clean it up with the flap disc, no one will ever know. Oh yeah. Might be a little hot. It's not bad. I think we got something here. You can hardly tell I had to butcher this. I did have to do this on the other quarter pound too, on that 67. Just nothing shit. And this car is all aftermarket, like the whole deal is from a catalog. A little hot. Got a little. Okay, well I think that's kind of passable. So there you go. I'll just give this a light massaging with the hammer, but really, it'll be okay. And you can see how like the metal kind of wedged out there. So obviously it's moving around doing its thing. But I'm just gonna, I'll weld that in solid, I'll weld that in solid, and then I'll grind it, and it'll look just like I did it, factory. So that's what we kind of started off with, and this is ultimately what we end up with. So there you go, it's pretty good. Use a little bit more grinding if you want, but again, this is all just kind of lapped together from the factory, and in here, the weather strip will all be hidden. So I'll get this side done real quick, and I think I just gotta do some welding in there. We'll get that taken care of and kind of ground down. And I'm probably gonna grind this section on both sides, and then that, I'll do this as well. And I'll be ready for some body filler. So we'll schmuck some of that on there. It's a nice little thin coat just to kind of level it out so it looks kind of decent. Then we'll lift it up. I don't think I'm gonna do the other side. I think I might just do this side. We'll see how motivated I feel. This little rocker section, but it's really not that bad. It's solid back there and back there. Just right there. We gotta cut a little piece in, make that work. So we'll get it all together. Okay, so I got everything kind of ground down. Now what we're gonna do is, I actually don't have any body filler, but that's fine because we gotta use this stuff first. This is fiberglass, but it's, I don't know, reinforced or whatever. So it's also, I don't have any paint sticks because last time we were at Canadian Tire, there was a hard limit. They wouldn't give us any paint sticks. Spend $10,000 a year there and they won't give me a paint stick. So now we're using a Canadian Tire screwdriver, which I'll throw out in the end. Or maybe I'll take it back under warranty. I don't know what happened to this one. Couldn't get any paint sticks, so I had to do this.
You're gonna have to let the paint stick go at some point.
And they give me more. They're paint sticks. Come on. Okay, so we'll do this. Now, a lot of people are saying in the comments a little bit like, man, if you're selling this thing, just, sheet metal, screw it together and send it down the road. And I'm, easily could do that. I don't know if it would affect the value that much, but I kind of like the idea of this going to somebody who maybe can fix it with hand tools, essentially, if they wanted to, or you don't need to have all sorts of, welders and all that sort of stuff. So this can all now, once we get this all done, be done with, cheap Harbor Freight, Princess Auto style grinders and whatnot. Okay, now what I'm gonna do here too, it's got a little bit of resin. I'm just gonna put a little extra resin in it, just so it becomes a little easier to kind of spread on there. It's not too much.
Does this stuff dry as quickly as body filler does?
Yep, same thing. Do that, and then this actually comes with this stuff, so we might as well give it a little. Oh, we need a pin prick.
I'm sure the back of the cap has that, doesn't it?
Nope.
What?
So instead, we're gonna go ahead and try not to stab my fingers. Yeah, junk, eh?
Can't get nothing these days.
Again, Canadian Tire, screwing a guy. Okay, so now we gotta kind of make sure we fold this all together.
Are you sure you don't want me doing this as the in-house body filler expert?
Yeah, we need you and Jolene. Me and Bad Chad just sit back and do nothing. Well, you guys collect all the royalty checks.
That's right.
You guys, people think me and whoever else have it figured out. No, it's the ladies behind the camera that really have it figured out. They're the ones that just get to kind of do whatever. Now this stuff, you really want to make sure you kind of mix it pretty good, because this stuff doesn't set. It's ugly. I wish I actually had a bigger mixing pad, but such is life. Oh no. Future Dan will take care of that. Man, people were watching all the videos there where past Dan really screwed over present Dan with carburetor situation.
Yeah.
Man, everyone's like, the carburetor went here, the carburetor. I don't remember what I did to that. All I know, she was gone. So now this is kind of almost got body filler. Oh no. Also this Amazon dispensing thing, it's not worth the money.
You're really making a mess of it.
I'm not a bodyman. Leave that to the experts like Jolene, Danielle. It's like origami.
Oh.
What are you doing? You gotta be careful on that.
My butt hit it.
Yeah, you don't really know what that thing is most of the time. So now this, again, it kind of has a bit of a void to be filled, which was right from factory. They just leaded it. So we're gonna go ahead and use the modern stuff. So anyways, the plan is we're gonna get this on here. Let's get it kind of close, and then we can body filler over top if we want. We might just kind of leave it with this and some 80 grit. We'll see how motivated we are. And while this is hardening up, we'll do the rocker. We'll take a look at the other one, see just how motivated I am to get that other rocker taken care of. But there we go. Perfect-ish. This same thing, I mean, really, we're just doing that to kind of seal the weld in. Make it look like something. Stuff's heavy. Okay. And this one, unfortunately, I think what happened, the guy had to put a strip in on this side, and I think he welded it in. He welded it a little hot. So I tried hammering it down. When you put a lot of heat into it, it gets really, the metal warps, which is kind of a bummer, but nature of the beast. Nothing's perfect. And again, like I said, this all would have been full of lead right from General Motors, where you're trained 18-year-old technician smoking pot would have put it together on a Friday afternoon. So we're doing it on a Sunday morning, so you know it's good. So this one will put a little extra in, and then we'll hit with the air hog and smooth her out. Okay, so that's call that good enough. I feel like I'm making it worse, not better. There we go. So what did we learn today? Canadian Tire stingy with the dipsticks, or the paint sticks. So now, let's take a look at the other side. I don't know how motivated I am to do that rocker. This one has a hole in it. That one's just kind of smashed. I'm thinking I might just leave it. This one's got a little hole. I mean, again, how much effort are we gonna put in? I mean, if you really want to make this thing nice, whoever's watching the video, put a rocker on, or a rocker section. So I would recommend. That's what I ended up doing on the other car. Is it needed enough patches? I just said screw it and I put a whole rocker in the thing, and it was way easier because then you can. I'm talking myself out of doing the work here, but I always feel like it's a Camaro. It should be done kind of nice, but
It's also not your Camaro.
Technically, it's still mine.
Until a nice, wonderful viewer decides they want to buy it.
See, like even back here, like this is not right. Like something is missing there. So what I did when I put mine on, I cut it right here on the edge, or maybe even up here I did it. Yeah, up here. And I welded it, seam welded it the whole way, and that's all hidden by the carpet and sill plates. Then you just kind of weld all in there. So this one I think we'll cut out just so it doesn't have a hole in it. But let's take a look at the other side. See what the motivation level is like. I mean, it just had a bunch of body filler on it. I think we'll just leave that. I think I'm just gonna leave, I'll grind it down, we'll prime it. You'll never see what's on the ground for one, but for two, I don't want anyone buying this thing thinking the rockers are mint. You know what I mean? So we'll leave the other side, we'll leave it open there. This one will just kind of grind down and it'll be what it's gonna be. And then if the guy wants to patch it, by all means, if you want to put a full rocker on, they were not expensive. I got them off Summit. I think they were 150 bucks. But it's a bit of a job and I don't feel like doing it. So yeah, I guess we'll get stuff on the other side. I'll start cutting that piece out, get some, yeah, we got some metal over there. We'll just make a simple little rectangle patch and call it a day. Well, then we gotta grind this down, I guess. Then call it a day. So, I'm going to, well, this has been repaired before too, actually. Oh, this is just a custom piece someone has lapped on top. So it needs a rocker here too, really. This is, I can get my finger under it now. There's a, well, it's supposed to be one solid piece, but you can see it's that, and then this, I mean, this isn't even on. It's just sitting there, so somebody made this piece because it was obviously rotten before. So that's kind of ugly. I don't want to see a rot hole. And again, this is on the bottom side of the car. No one's ever going to see it, but it is a Camaro. But we'll cut this little section out. And we'll just kind of weld a little patch in and call it a day, just so it looks like something. Okay, we should be able to just use the old metal as a bit of a template. If I can get this out without destroying it. This was kind of ugly up in here. Yeah. Close enough. Hot. It's full of junk, but it's actually solid. So what we're going to do now, well, you can see the old bit. So we're just going to have to cut a square out in around that shape, and we'll put a bend on it. This is all good metal now, I can weld to. A little ugly up there, but should be fine. So let's trace this onto a piece of metal, cut it out. We'll bend it and break a little bit. We'll come back and do that. I'll clean this up just a little bit more. Weld her in, hopefully then the filler is dry, and see if I'm motivated to sand that down or not. I think these are probably original rockers. They look to be. They're in nice shape. Underneath is mint, and it's actually double wall. I think on the backside is double thick. And it's mint, so just a little bit on the side here. The quarter panel must have got stuff in it, and it leaked in and just rotted it from the inside out, like these old cars do. Okay, let's make a patch and be right back. So that's our old piece. That's what I made. So it just had a little bend in it, but we're, you know, pretty much the same. I left, I want to show it again, look at that. Look at how good that looks. Ooh, I left it just a little long on the bottom side, I think. Oh, not by much. What you could do is weld like a little nub or something like that to it to kind of hold it a little nicer, but we didn't do that. Just gonna trim the bottom up here. Watch your toes. Okay, now Danielle's editing these videos, so she's not dropping the sound down and all these random clips. Make sure you let her know. So I'm probably just gonna cheat a little bit because I'm lazy. I'll just kind of hold it. Oh, that didn't go well. Okay, got that in. Whoop. So we call this the doggy door. So now that it's kind of held in, you just gotta give it a little push back. Take that fitsy cutting butt. We're doggy door over here. Right in my crotch.
Did it get you?
Only in the unimportant part. So now he's got to kind of, just a little bend here with the screwdriver, which I left there purposely. Okay, so that's basically that. A little soft at the top here. I probably could have made the patch just a smidgen bigger. Whoops. Okay. A little gappy at the bottom, but you know what? We got the wire feed unit going, so I'll just go ahead and buzz this in right quick. We'll give it a quick hit with the grinder and call it a day. We'll probably just leave it kind of, not like say unfinished, but just ground down, so it's, again, very obvious to the next individual as to what's going on here. So, can you turn the welder down on the right side, just hit negative side 1. Yeah, perfect. I'll get this welded up and we'll be right back. Good. Looking good, baby. So, we got a little patch done on this side. I've lowered the car now, but it has a patch. Looks better from up here. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a quick hit with the sander. So Danny's all masked up again. A little bit of safety goes a long way. Eh? Safety first-ish. So we'll see if we can just kind of flatten it out. It'll probably need a second application, but it's not bad. The compressor here. You're working with the audio on this one, eh? I love it. The second you said you take care of editing. So you can kind of see, I got this. It's like an 8-inch IR, but it's off Scamazon. It was $100, and then they sell packs and packs of those cheap stick back paper. Oh man, is it good. And it takes off all sorts of material in a hurry too. It's flat-ish there, obviously, and here we have low spots. So I'll just go ahead and I'll do both sides. We'll do another coat of it, and we'll come back when it's kind of ready for a quick coat of filler, and that's about it. But you can see that's exactly what it would look like from factory, except it would have been lead. They had a big kind of seam there. So there you have it. Well, let's get after this real quick, and then they get to skip all the fun stuff while we get to suffer. Okay, let's get to work. Show Jolene how it's done.
What am I doing?
Working hard. Man, you got tiny hands. Okay, so grab a Canadian Tire shitty screwdriver worth of stuff. More, yeah. Well, it's all you can get, but you gotta kind of twist it on there. Yeah, that's fine. Just put it on the thing.
It's dirty.
Twist it. There you go. Now get a few more of those. Oh, that was a good one. You got to twist and pull. Man.
Oh no. You too can get one of these shirts at ddspshop.ca starting July 1st.
How about that? July 1st, you say?
July 1st through the 5th.
Okay, hurry up. Let's go. People are they're paying by the minute here. Don't spill that stuff anywhere because it's gross.
Well, I'm doing my best.
Your best? Well, that was a good one. Well, you had a good one, you lost it. What is this? Okay, that should be enough. So now we'll take just a little shmooey of that. Start folding it in. We'll put just a little bit of this in there too. I like this stuff. Hang on. Just give you just a little. And we'll just put a couple of droplets. There you have it. So now kind of work that in. Work it. Work it, Danielle. So you know how to, you know, we buy our bread now from someone else. Danny doesn't even make bread at home. Can you believe that? What kind of homestead are we?
We're not a homestead.
Keep working it. You gotta get some of the stuff off though. You gotta kind of.
I need another spatula.
There you go. Yeah, just do that. There you go. Look at that. You're nailing it here. Maybe you'll put this in fast motion on the video, or
nope, they're gonna have to painfully suffer through it.
painfully suffer through it. Okay, so Danny keeps working that away. Are you done? You think it's mixed good enough?
Isn't it?
Sure, if you're happy with it, I'm happy with it. Oh yeah, give it the witches, you know, whatever, the witches stir. So now, well, we're gonna put this on here. Just kind of do a little schmooey right there.
As a cross?
More than that. I'll load her up. There you go.
As a cross?
I just kind of do like one of those, kind of down or whatever. Yeah. So you want to try and, yeah. Okay, keep going. Pack it in, okay. There's a little low spot right in the edge there too. Yeah, there you go. So now get some more. Yeah, now load up a kind of a fair bit on it again. Now when you put it on there, almost kind of just trying to push the squeegee on the edges, you know? Yeah, there you go. And then it'll kind of just fill all that right in. Now you're pushing too hard. So we took a bunch off, which is what we're trying to. I'll just give it just a real quick touch up here. Sorry. I think you're nailing it here, babe. We're gonna call that good enough. Great job, by the way. Let's work on the other side.
Look on my sock.
That's the lesson you learn from wearing socks and sandals. Now this one, what it's gonna need is this section and then there and there. This one actually came out pretty good. We have a high spot, yeah. So don't push it quite so hard. We're trying to get more material on the panel there.
Is that in there?
You gotta get that area. Okay, I'm gonna do this. This actually isn't really too bad there, but just give it a little skim coat in there just so it kind of fills in that, yeah, that little void there. That should be fine, and then just do yeah. And one little area right there. Perfecto. We'll let that dry, we'll come back, sand it, prime it, credits. T-shirts. Okay, so I gave it just one more kind of coat there. We got some high build-ish primer. So I'm gonna give this a shot because the filler always just sucks it right in. But I think what I'm actually gonna do is, well, maybe just kind of paint the whole, or prime the back half of this thing. Just where it's all metal, I mean, kind of protect it a little bit, and then we can start putting like tail lights and all that stuff in.
Start making it look like a car.
Start making it look like a car. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're not fooling no one. There's a few people watching who kind of know the tricks here, but give this a coat. Put on my sanding mask real quick. And actually, I found 2 cans. This is a good primer. It covers real good, so we should be able to just kind of, you know, make it look like something. So we'll open up some doors, mask up, let it rip. Then get the back done. Like I said, yeah, put the lights in, just get everything kind of taken care of, and then it can dry. And funny enough, I managed to time it right around lunchtime, if you noticed. So this can dry while we eat lunch, and then I'll start another video. But we'll set the time lapse up or something like that and let it rip. A little more editing for you. I love it now.
Yeah, you're really like, I feel like you're doing all this goofy stuff on purpose.
The videos are gonna get way better now, and I don't gotta edit them. I'm the talent.
Star swipe, star swipe, star swipe.
Yeah.
Cube spin.
I like.
Door open.
I like the fade in and out, and I like clock wipe for next day. And then if we're doing like multiple things of the same one, I like either the slide over or the one goes into the other. So I'll be checking your work later.
Well, did you see what I did on the last video?
Didn't even look at it.
Exactly.
Oh, this is fun for a small person.
Well, yeah, I put it on. That's what I was wearing.
Oh. Time lapse it. Let's go. We need brake clean too. Can you remember that? Mm-hmm. So I used a can and a half of primer. I still have a half can. I didn't do the roof, which I probably could, but honestly, this stuff covers great. This is actually what I painted my 55 Chevy with years ago, and it's fine. I actually wanted to use those turbo cans. We don't have turbo can in primer. So we'll let this kind of dry, but it immediately looks like a car, which is kind of nice. So I think a bit of a run. I accidentally walked into that side, so whatever. We'll wet sand it out. But now with this, I can, we'll paint the deck lid. I'll just kind of scuff that, paint it, put it on, see if we can get the latch working or something. We can put the tail lights in. Nothing's gonna work, but all the lights on the side, just make it start looking like a car. Put the trim around the back window, all that sort of stuff. But that's where we're leaving this video. We're gonna run out. We gotta hit old Princess Auto, get rust converter, primer, and brake clean. I want to brake clean off the fenders. Got some transmission oil on it. So maybe we'll do that today. We'll finish it off, kind of prime the whole thing. I don't know where we should end there. And then I have carpet I want to put in this thing, and I want to put the glass in, and we got some seats. And then once we get all that together, it's literally make it run, and then figure out how to make it stop. I hope it has some sort of back brakes. We just kind of plumb something to there, just so it can kind of stop. The idea is it can kind of drive on and off a trailer in and of someone's driveway, and a little bit of primer makes it look that much nicer when it is sitting derelict in someone's driveway. Immediately in the next couple of days, this will look like a presentable car that your neighbors won't call the city on you for. Well, Unless you got cool neighbors like us, they won't call. But if you're like an HOA or something like that, you might have some issues. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. We're going to get some lunch and some paint and stuff, and we'll see you on the next video. Tell Danny she's doing a mediocre job editing too.